What happens when a couple of friends deep dive into silly Star Wars thoughts and questions you never knew you needed answered?
Do you think that Shmi and Qui-Gon did the Funky Town dance?
Oh, yeah.
You do?
Oh, yeah. 100% that was her being like, come on, let's go to bed, you know?
She was coming to invite us.
Yeah.
Join us for some casual conversation on the Cantina Chat podcast featuring Jordan and Sean.
All right, welcome in. Thanks for joining us to another episode of the Cantina Chat podcast. Got another fun one. We're going to be talking about The Empire Strikes Back today.
Yep.
It's a really good movie.
Great movie.
Understand why a lot of people say that's their favorite, huh?
Right.
Yeah. We'll close it out a little bit later with a game, like we always do. But wanted to bring up right away to you. I know I was rewatching it, like I always do when we get ready for one of these.
Of course.
And man, I always appreciate like how funny Han is, and this is a movie, another one that has so many quotable lines. But,
Oh, yeah.
dude, he's so funny.
Yeah. I like Han. Han's character was... It was well written, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I like him. I mean, as a kid, like through the originals, he was my favorite character from the originals, was Han Solo.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So
It makes sense. He's got so many little like quips that he throws back at everybody.
yeah,
That like whether it's him and Leia the whole time,
scruffy looking.
him and C-3PO, like him and Luke, like just the
Yeah.
whole movie. I'm like this guy is freaking
Yeah.
funny. Like
Yeah, I like it. That's good. No, this is a good movie overall. This is probably my favorite movie out of the originals.
Yeah, it makes
So-
sense. I understand why everybody says it's their favorite. I have such a soft spot for probably just nostalgia reasons that the first one always hits
Yeah,
home to
so
me
for
so
me,
well.
yeah.
But I think that's the reason why Force Awakens is my favorite in the sequel trilogy, because it's like a carbon copy of A New Hope
Right,
with different characters.
of course.
And I don't even necessarily mind that. I think
Different
it works.
characters. Han's still there, baby. I mean, he dies, but spoiler alert.
Whoa! How could you? How could you? Is anybody that's watching this show doesn't know something about Star
You
Wars?
never
That
know.
would be. Yeah.
You never know.
Well,
You know.
you ruined probably an 8-year-old's life just now. Yeah. That was his favorite character too until you said that.
Huh.
Yeah. What a shame.
Oh well. Get over it.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. But yeah, it's another trope of George Lucas's, just like the last one. He loves when you jump straight into the action.
Yep.
You don't start out in the movie with any exposition or whatever.
Huh?
I'll get it out.
What was that?
Hard to say
Yeah.
for me. But yeah, so another one, you jump right into it, and we're trying to figure out what's happened. There's been a little bit of a time skip,
Yep.
but not a whole lot, But that's what that famous Star Wars like opening crawl is for, so that you can just jump right into
Right. Yeah. I mean, it
story.
gives you all like where we're at, what we're doing,
Yeah.
what's happening, so on and so forth, which is great. You can miss 2-3 years, and they're like, okay, so this is what happened just then. You know what I mean? So that's nice. I do like how they do that. It makes sense. It doesn't leave you kind of guessing anything like that. So
Right.
the only thing that makes you guess is the TV shows.
That's true. That's true. We never talked about it when we reviewed The Acolyte, but in terms of time periods and all that stuff, I guess I'm getting a little bit off topic, but you just reminded
Are
me.
we?
Not for us.
Star Wars.
Yeah, it's still Star Wars. When we have all these other shows and all these other things, we have to come up with time periods and like figure things out like little detectives
As we go.
as the
Yeah.
fans. And that's something that The Acolyte did that I don't think any other show has ever done. Was the very opening of the very first episode,
Yeah.
it said a specific time period.
Right.
It said, 130 BBY or whatever it said. I've forgotten. I'm pretty sure that's what it says, like
Yeah,
132 BBY or
Yeah.
something.
Something.
And I'm like, that's crazy, because the whole reason why we use BBY as a term, that's like a fan created term to mean the Battle of Yavin.
Yeah.
Before Battle of Yavin and afterwards, because it's such a momentous event. But that time period isn't up until then like a canon time period. That was
Right.
something fans created to keep track of when things are,
Yeah.
and then plus and minus based on that.
Right.
But the Acolyte actually straight up just told us the time period. Here
Yeah.
you go. This is it. Otherwise, we would have been left guessing. Nothing else has ever done that for us. That's kind of crazy. If you think
What
about
show
it,
was
Mando.
it? Oh,
and-
Mando is what we always have a hard time of figuring out what
'Cause
time period
you
we're
get
in, how many
characters-
years have gone by, so on and so forth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny.
It is tough. It is hard. So then you're like, okay, so like the city.
Yeah, that's true. The city where the bounty hunter guy was leading it.
Yeah.
and we saw it like changing quite frequently
Yeah.
between the
So
different
you're like, okay,
seasons
so it's
and
probably
stuff.
like 3 years gone by at this point. Oh, now this has changed. Maybe like an additional 2 years. Blah blah blah.
Right.
It's tough. But,
The
I mean, I'm sure you go
implication,
online and it'll say like, oh, this is how much.
right?
Time went by.
And it wasn't for me when we were watching that like live. It was in between like two different seasons. It was when Grogu got trained by Luke.
Yeah.
He went to go do that, and then the next season he was already back with
Yeah.
Mando. But Favreau said in one of his things, like, or maybe it was Filoni. I'm pretty sure it was Favreau though. But he said like in passing, like, and we know Grogu's been training with Luke for a couple of years or something like that, just as like a little throwaway comment. And I was like, wait, he was there for how long?
Yeah.
Because I had no idea.
We saw him again in Boba Fett. So
right.
Like, that's when Grogu got back with Man. Anyway, let's get back to episode 5.
Yeah. Sorry.
So opening up, no, you go right back into kind of like intense.
Yeah.
You see the Empire launches the probe droids out of the Star Destroyer. They
I like
crashing down
them.
in a Hoth. That was cool looking too. Like when you were just watching, it's like doof, doof, doof. You got these probe droids that are just now crashing towards the surface. Those were cool.
I like them.
Right. They hit down, and Luke says he's going to go check out a meteor impact, or and so he goes from there. Immediately gets up there.
Dude, why is Luke the most easily, like, I've never seen a character be able to be snuck up on so easily. He's always looking in binoculars, and he's like, oh, there's Tuskens way down there, and then one just pops up right next to him. And then he's like, I'm going to go look at a meteor, and he's looking at his binoculars, and a Wampa jumps up right at him.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, you're just looking through your binoculars, like, oh, a meteor. You're looking, you're trying to see it.
His
you
horse.
tell me you didn't hear that thing coming?
His tauntaun, they use like a
Freaked
horse.
out. He's
it's
like,
freaking out.
yeah.
He's trying to calm it down.
Whoa,
he's like, calm
girl.
down,
Yeah.
What's going on? Why are you so
Yeah.
upset? And the thing's like, right in his face.
Yeah. Knocks him out, kills his tauntaun, his wonton. Soup.
His wonton. Ooh, I bet
How
they are
about that?
tasty.
Tauntauns
Probably
or
not.
wontons?
The general rule is you never eat anything that you can ride. Yeah, that's why you shouldn't eat horse meat.
But you can ride a cow.
No, you can't. I mean, not that you can
I'd
ride,
ride
but
a
that
cow.
you do ride.
I mean, if you're bad off, you probably would, yeah.
No, you shouldn't ride a cow
Why?
because you can eat them.
Huh?
That's the rule. Don't worry about it. So then they go to.
You can ride a gator.
You can't ride a gator.
You could ride a gator.
It would not smart to ride a gator.
Well, it's not smart. Yeah, you're right.
You're
All
the
right.
most like Florida person I've ever met for somebody that's not from Florida.
What do you mean? Oh, because I like
Everything
crazy
about you
stuff.
just screams I'm from Florida.
Well, it's-
But you're not.
That's what happens when you're a little country boy. You know what I mean? You're just not really afraid of much.
Talking about riding gators.
Well.
Psycho.
Anyway, so the Wampa gets him, knocks him out, and so I liked when he woke up in the den, like in the Wampa's den.
Yeah.
Like, he was upside down, had no idea where he was.
Right.
Sees his lightsaber, and he like looks over, and you hear the tauntaun, the Wampa screaming, like yelling, or whatever, like
Yeah.
off through the distance.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
like
yeah.
you get that cut over, like he's like trying to figure out what's going on. Was it the extended cut, the director's cut, or whatever, where it was
Right,
like
there's
eating
more.
the tauntaun or whatever? Was that?
Yeah,
that?
you can still see him in the regular one, but
Was it?
there's more to the scene.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I really like that scene though. He's like doesn't know what to do, but his lightsaber's conveniently just sitting right over there in the snow. But I mean, it makes sense. It was on his belt.
Yeah, the thing put him-
Wampa's not gonna
Disarm him.
right. It
I
just
better
fell
hide
off his
this
belt.
weapon.
Right.
Nah, I think it just fell off of his belt. Or
yeah,
whatever.
when he was holding up, when he was putting him up. But I always thought that was kind of a cool scene, like when I was growing up and stuff, because like he trying to use the Force, can't get it there, and then like he just, I mean, he like truly reaches out,
Right.
and it's just enough. You see like the clip on the lightsaber like start to flap or whatever, and
Right,
then,
right.
he gets it, cuts himself off. Wampa comes and slices his arm off, and I
That's
was
his
like,
whole arm right
yeah,
off.
I was like, dude, this is
Yeah.
cool. I always thought that was a cool scene though. Watching him like not able to use the Force the way he needs to, but
Yeah.
then truly like reaching, like he closes his eyes, he does this thing, he breathes for a second, calms down, and then
Yeah.
just straight focuses.
It's
and
funny.
it's just enough to be able to get him the lightsaber.
It gives us a good idea from where we were in the last movie as well, where like he had a small connection to the Force.
Yeah.
He's grown a little bit, but he's
Right.
not some like things are just automatic,
Right.
like a certain someone who will come in a sequel trilogy later where things are just perfectly automatic and no training
Who's that?
whatsoever. We'll find out later,
Yeah, of
probably.
Oh,
But
you know what's-
it's one of those
God.
things I've always appreciated
We're like
about
two
the originals.
movies away. Well, no,
I
one
know.
movie away theoretically.
I know. Yeah, it'll be only 2. Yeah,
I just got heartburn all of a sudden.
that's right. I think it'll be good. I'm kind of excited to rewatch
I
them,
do like,
to be honest.
well, we've talked about this before. I like 7, 8 is okay. I didn't care for 9 that much.
I really disliked
I
it.
did like the ending of 9 when we saw we heard all of the Jedi's voices. I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, I
because
am
they
all the
actually had
Jedi,
like
I
the
am all
voice
the
actors
Sith.
for other people, so that was awesome. Great
Yeah.
for that. Made me happy. Anyway,
That's true.
let's get back.
Yeah,
to where we're at.
we're probably gonna have to be jumping all around and stuff like we always do. But I also, there's so many iconic lines.
Well, you have the "I'll see you in hell." You know.
Yeah, that's
that
true.
line.
That was great.
I love that. I still love that because what did he say? He's like, "You won't make it past the first mile marker."
Yeah,
and he's
yeah.
like, "Well, I'll see you in hell."
Yeah.
You know, I was like, "Oh," I loved it, and it was like, I don't know that whole scene between Han, like trying
Freaking
to
out,
find,
yeah.
freaking out, trying to figure out where Luke is. Nobody has seen him.
Right.
So I'm gonna go get him, and this guy's like, "Oh, you're not gonna make it." And he's like, "Oh, watch me." You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like he
no.
was gonna go get his best friend,
Yeah.
or he was gonna die.
Yeah.
That's what Han wanted to do.
I love that.
Then you come up to when he finds Luke, you crawling through the snow. Or
Right.
he's passed out in the snow at this point.
Right.
Another cool scene.
Yeah.
Seeing
He reaches out. He
Force
sees
Ghost
Ben.
of Obi-Wan of
Yeah.
Ben.
Mhm.
And he's like,
Ben gives him the instructions. Go to
"Go
Dagobah.
to Dagobah." Yeah, right. There you'll find Yoda. No, I'm just kidding. But it was cool. And Luke had he was so confused though, and he thought that was Ben. Like, I mean, he was so messed up though. He's like, "Ben," he's like hollering for him, like, "Help me!"
Right.
But that didn't happen. Remember last time a Skywalker asked Ben for help?
Well,
Well, he didn't ask for help. He
no.
was just laying there.
Yeah, that's
Anyway.
true.
Huh. But no, then you get to when Han finds Luke and he slices, like, the Tauntaun dies
Right.
because it froze. Like, it was too cold for the Tauntaun, which they said was going to happen.
Right.
And then Han gets the idea, okay, well, this Tauntaun's dead. Luke's almost dead and he's freezing.
Right.
Cut him open.
Right.
So that was cool. See Han
Yep.
ignite the lightsaber and slice the Tauntaun open.
One of the very few times throughout all of Star Wars that you ever see a non-Jedi in canon
Somehow wield
pick up
the
a
lightsaber.
lightsaber, turn
Yeah.
it on, and use it.
It was cool.
So that was pretty neat.
Yeah. He slices it open.
Up until the sequel trilogy, I don't think you ever see that again,
Mm-mm.
because Finn is the only other one who supposedly is non-force sensitive who picks up a saber. Other than Grievous is not.
I'm not gonna lie. The
force-sensitive,
trailers when they first came out, I thought
but it was on
he was
purpose.
gonna be. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
they wanted that
Yeah.
to make you think he
talked
was
about
going to
that.
turn into a Jedi. Yeah.
I thought that was him. I thought he was.
And
a
like
Jedi.
the whole time they play with that idea, even all the way through the end. They're in that pit in the last movie or whatever, and there's like sand like bringing him down or whatever, quicksand, and he's like desperate to tell Rey his secret, and it's either I love you or I'm force sensitive. I don't know because he never tells her.
It was definitely I love you.
I think so. But they kept teasing that he might
Yeah.
actually be force sensitive, and they kept going back and forth with that. And I'm like, there's a chance. Like I don't know what's going on here, but I don't know.
Anyway, then you had the iconic line of, "I thought they smelled bad on the outside," right? That's another great.
We use
line.
that all the time
A
outside
lot,
of Star
a
Wars.
lot.
Yeah.
But no, yeah.
Yeah.
Good
So
scenes though. I did the whole opening for this of the trying to find Luke, everybody worrying. Then you had Leia and Chewie, C-3PO, like the doors. Remember the
Yeah, the
doors
doors
started
are
closing because it
shutting.
was getting too
Yeah.
cold. It was getting night.
nobody knows what's gonna happen.
And yeah. Then you have Chewie do his
Like cry.
his cry. Yeah, as
Yeah.
he's sitting there, like pops his head on the
Almost
thing,
like
he's
howling.
"Ah,"
Yeah.
yeah, because he's scared. He's worried about
Absolutely.
his friends. But yeah, that was the whole opening part to this was very good.
Now I've always kind of wondered, but Luke is this farm boy.
Yeah.
How he grew up. He probably didn't have much interaction with anybody socially living under Owen. He goes from that to this. They save him, they bring him back, he's recovering, they take him out of the back to tank. Han and Leia are still arguing, and Han's being cocky like he always is, and Leia's like, well, I guess you don't know everything about women, do you? And then the iconic scene that becomes more important later when the
We're
secret
talking
reveal
about when
comes.
Chewie laughs.
Yes, yes. Leia,
Laugh it up.
yeah,
Furball.
I love that so much. It's another one. Every
Or
line.
fuzzball, whatever he said.
Yeah, fuzzball. But Leia kisses Luke on the mouth, right? And she does this to purposefully spite Han.
Yeah.
But whatever, she kissed him like to prove, oh, you don't know everything about boys. I chose him, not you. Or everything about girls.
Whoa.
Uh, But it's funny because Luke gets all like
Yeah,
proud
he
of himself,
cocky. He's like, all right.
he puts his hands behind his head. He's all like, yeah, I guess it was me she picked. But
Crazy to believe. 2 years later, he's like, "You're my sister." Wait a second.
yeah, and then she says when he reveals it, "I know, I've always known." Like, well, did you?
It's kind of hard to tell.
But anyway, my point was being a farm boy, fully like I imagine closed off socially. Do you think that was his first kiss? Luke's first kiss came from his sister.
Gotta be.
Gotta be his first kiss, right?
Or maybe not. Maybe
there
being
was
young, hanging out with his friends back home.
in between the Death Star trench run and this movie, maybe. Or you think there was somebody on Tatooine?
You never know.
There was like the deleted
You know
scene.
how Tatooine gets at night.
Tatooine gets pretty bad at night. Yeah, it's only at Tashi Station.
Party Central.
That's true.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Carry on.
I think there was a girl in the group of friends that he had with Biggs in one of the deleted scenes where he goes to Tashi Station.
Tashi Station.
But there's like 3 guys and a girl, I think,
Yeah.
counting Biggs.
Right.
But yeah, that's funny that we don't really know, but I just imagine that he's just this like country boy who grew up, where Owen doesn't want him having any reaction or interactions with anybody. It's kind of funny.
Oh, I agree. It's yeah. Good for him.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
You'll always remember your first kiss from your sister. That's weird.
Anywho,
well,
then you got Leia in the same area. You're telling Han, "You scruffy-looking, half-witted nerf herder," and he goes, "Ooh, scruffy-looking." That's the only thing he had a problem with. You know what I mean?
he had so many lines along that with her that made me laugh so hard.
Well, you go into the when they're in the big worm.
Yeah.
What was that called? Exogorth.
And the Exogorth,
yeah, when they were inside that, and he was like working on the ship,
right,
like, trying to fix it or whatever, hiding from the Empire.
And then there's some shaking or whatever. Yeah. That's my favorite one, the whole thing. Yeah. She falls back into his arms as the Empire's bombing the thing, and he's like, he catches her, and she's like, "Get off me! Don't touch me!" And she's all like, she doesn't like it, and he's like, "Wait!" And then she gets even more mad. She's like, "Get it! Don't touch me!" And he's like, "Hey." What does he say?
I can't remember.
He says something about like, "Don't get upset just because I'm touching you" or something like that. Yeah. And she's
don't
like,
"Don't get all worked up,
yeah,
sweetheart," or something.
Don't get
like
excited.
Yeah.
And she said, "Getting held by you is not nearly enough to get me excited."
Right.
And his response is, "We don't have time for anything else." Like, oh man, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, it was good.
He would be like, if it was modern day, he'd be on like an improv stand-up comedy type show. Like he's quick-witted. Mm-hmm. He's that guy.
Good thing. Another thing that we see a lot of is Vader force choking his
own people,
captains and commanders of his fleet.
Yeah.
Through
we got to see a lot of that
hologram or video chat.
Through just yeah. True.
How?
He's that talented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you imagine being on a ship that's like, I don't know how far away he was, and he's just looking at you through a video, and you still get force choked? You thought you were safe.
I think.
Was he on the same ship?
I think they were on the same ship. He was still on the Executor at that point, and he was just in that like training simulator thing that closes down.
Was it there that he did that?
Yeah, that opens up. It was they were on the same ship because they had dropped out of hyperspace. How
many did he choke? 2, right, in this movie?
No, just one. Just the guy that he gave.
Chat?
He gave. Yeah.
And then
he chastised him first. Oh yeah, and then later he also chokes out someone else.
Yeah, because he gave the guy
Admiral Nita or whatever. Captain Nita becomes an admiral.
Yeah.
Also, there's like a weird thing. I'm pretty sure it's this movie. I'm almost positive, but there was like a mistake in the costuming. And so almost everybody in the movie has like the same exact rank on their shirts, and it doesn't follow this like normal rank that it had in the previous movie or in the next one.
Right.
So like they all have like it's like 4 red pips above blue pips, which is like I think it wasn't any of the ranks in the previous movie.
I actually had a picture
of what the ranks were supposed to be.
Yeah, I found it the other day because I never knew. Like
right.
I've never excuse me, I've never been like, well, let me see what this rank is. Blah blah
It's
blah.
very confusing because there's contradicting information
Well,
in
there's
Star Wars.
a lot of
like secondary ranks and stuff.
yeah, it gets
Yeah.
kind of tough. I don't
Yeah.
think I can find it.
But in this movie, almost everybody looks like they're wearing the exact same rank on their shirt, even though they're referred to as captains, commanders. Like Admiral seems to be the only one. All the admirals, and it's different than it was in the previous movie. It's so
I
weird.
can't find it. I might not have
But
saved it.
it's just a goofy thing that they did by mistake. Because like in the previous movies, they mixed the colors. Like I'm pretty sure Commander was like 2 blue and 3 red, and they
Yeah.
were all in one line. And in this movie, they're double stacking, so there's like 4 red over 4 blue, or
Right.
vice versa. I can't
That's funny.
remember. But it's like they all looked exactly the same,
Right.
and they're like, why did they do that? They just didn't.
Just didn't catch it probably.
No.
I mean, it happens.
It's
You
one
have
of those
so many
funny
different
things.
costumes you have to go through. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's cool.
I do think to jump forward to when he does go to Dagobah, and
Luke.
yeah, Luke gets to go to Dagobah. You brought up last week that he can't drive for nothing, and he crashes. and
Crashes
that's
right
so
into the
funny.
swamp. I mean, granted,
Crashes
it's not
the
his
swamp.
fault. All of his systems weren't working. His radar, like his scanner, wasn't working. It was haywiring. It was foggy, rainy.
Yeah,
You can't see anything.
I know.
He's never been to the planet to know what
Right.
the atmosphere is like. You can't blame him for
I
crashing
know.
into the swamp.
But it
But
is
at the
fun.
same time, he's like, I'm not such a bad pilot myself. And we look at
We've only
5.
ever
You know
seen
what
him
I'm saying?
crash.
Right. Get out of here. We're covering the movie where he crashes twice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. But I think we get to meet Yoda, and they do the funny, this silly gremlin-looking dude turns out to be the Jedi
Yoda.
Master.
You seek Yoda. Yeah.
By far, my my favorite Yoda, dude. My favorite Yoda.
The
Everything about
exiled
him.
old hermit Yoda.
Dude, he talks so different
Yeah.
than the rest of
Yeah.
them. He's such a brat. He's just a little punk.
Mine.
He's just stealing stuff. By the way, remind you, R2D2 did not have his memory wiped.
No,
Neither did Yoda.
I think
They know each other.
I think that's just a game R2 and Yoda play is who can keep the flashlight the longest.
The weird thing is sometimes when R2 talks to Luke understands him. Sometimes it's because he's responding like
Well,
in the
like and when he's
computer
in
and
the
it pops up.
cockpit,
But then other times he seems to talk to him and Luke will like respond. And I'm like, so does he understand him or not?
I think he slowly learns like throughout the movie
What some of the vague
because
things
like in
mean.
episode 4 in A New Hope he had to look at C-3PO when R2 was talking to him.
Right.
And then when he was in the cockpit going to the Death Star run, he had the translator.
It talks
on
in the
thing.
cockpit, yeah.
And so I think throughout the time that he spent, he did slowly start learning how to speak to
understand.
R2.
It's just funny that they never
Cover that.
clue that in. I don't know. Yeah.
You just
But-
slowly have to get the hint. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like Anakin. I mean, he learned
He
how
did.
to talk to R2, whatever,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. So it's like, all right. I guess it's not that hard because so many people can understand an astromech.
Right.
That you don't have to have a protocol droid or anything like that. So, but yeah, no, Yoda knew R2. R2 knew Yoda. There's no way Yoda forgot R2 because
No.
I saw him all the time.
No, he's just
R2
definitely still
didn't
doing
forget
it.
Yoda.
No.
You know,
How could you? I mean, if your
it's a
memory
humanoid
banks
the
weren't
same
wiped,
size as you.
I know. And also, you would know the most important person in the Jedi Order,
The strongest Jedi of the Order.
like from when you were serving.
Well,
as
literally
somebody
from
with the Jedi.
Yeah,
That's
from
so
when you
weird.
served the Jedi, the Republic,
You
to
would know
now,
their
you
leader.
knew he was the strongest Jedi. So it's like, all right,
It's so silly,
Yeah.
but yeah. I think that's pretty funny. He's whacking R2 with the stick and stuff. He finally wins and he closes the door.
yeah,
His arm
smacks
smacks
it.
Every little dumb saying he had, dude,
Yeah.
he's so funny. Had all the wisdom and everything you would want
Yeah.
and appreciate out of a master. But yeah, just totally awesome, this
Yeah.
dude. I love everything about him. His attitude, his little snarkiness.
Yeah,
Yep. I think one of my favorite things too is right after the famous, there is no try.
do or do not. Yeah,
Um,
favorite
and
saying. One of
Luke
my
is,
all-time favorite sayings.
a lot of the Yoda's words of wisdom are
Well, they're wisdom.
fantastic.
So it's like talking to the old monk.
But
Literally.
Luke is like, you want the impossible. That ship's too big to pull out of there, and he grumpily whines like a teenage boy and then walks away. And Luke is like, Yoda. Yoda's like, I'm gonna show him.
Yeah.
And he just pulls the whole ship
Yeah.
out of the thing, brings it over.
R2's like freaking
Whoa,
out, happy,
whoa.
yeah, excited, yeah. Luke turns around and sees the ship,
He's
and he's like, huh.
Whoa. That's pretty crazy.
I mean, Yoda, he's still just as strong as he was. He's
I
old
wonder
and
too,
demented,
like,
probably, but like, well, obviously.
well, we saw
But
that like Obi-Wan, to cope with what happened with him in that series, we learned that he closed himself off
yeah,
from the
disconnected
Force
himself.
so that he couldn't be found.
Right.
And
It
we
was like
know
turning off like a tracker.
part of why Yoda chose Dagobah was because the planet was full of life,
And it
from
masked.
life forms, and it kind of masked a little bit of him. But he was so powerful in the Force, I assume he probably also was cutting himself off from the Force in some way. That might have been the first time he's used the Force in a long time.
I don't think so.
You
Just
think he was
because
still
I
active?
still think he was active. I mean, it took him a second to be able to get it, but the swamp had swallowed the X-wing.
Right.
You know,
I mean, he
'cause
was
when
great.
Luke tried it, it sunk completely
Mhm.
below the water.
Right.
So you know, you have like all the gunk and stuff like that's holding on to it. So Yoda getting old. So you know, I mean, I'm sure that plays a part on him. But he
Right.
sits there, he does his thing, and it doesn't take but just a couple seconds for the X-wing to slowly start rising.
Yeah.
And then it comes up and he moves it over and he lands it right on top of the dry land or solid
So you
land.
think because it was somewhat easy-ish for Yoda that he was still training basically the whole time he was there
I think so.
on Dagobah?
I don't think he ever stopped. I mean, I
Yeah.
feel like he still meditated. He still did all of his normal stuff.
It
I mean,
makes
obviously he didn't do
sense.
like combat training, I guarantee, because you really
Right.
can't. But like,
But he more used Dagobah's location to hide his
I
presence.
think he did that on purpose to hide his presence
Yeah.
because later I feel like he knew that between him and Obi-Wan, they were the last two who, which obviously because the whole
Right.
fact of Obi-Wan being there was when Luke was old enough, he was to train the boy.
Yeah.
That was his whole job.
Yeah.
Yoda knew that. And so it's like, I feel like, I don't know, maybe Yoda sensed that Obi-Wan was going to disconnect himself off and that's it. So Yoda was like, well, then I'll stay strong enough. Or that Yoda and Obi-Wan had spoken some way, somehow,
Right.
whether through the Force or not, or Qui-Gon.
Well, you
the
know-
Force goes to Qui-Gon relaying messages. It's hard
True.
telling, you know what I mean?
True.
But they could have been like, I don't, hey, as a failsafe, I'm going to stay able, I'm still going to be able to train
To
Luke.
be strong. Yeah.
Right, just in case something happens to you.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the thing that I see.
I like that train of thought.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good. And we know from like other things like Rebels and some other shows that at some point he through the Force connected with Ahsoka. At some point through the Force he connected with Ezra, and like they had full on conversations.
Yeah.
So like Yoda knows there's other stuff going on, at this point in time.
Right.
So it's a little, I guess for sure he still has a pretty strong connection
Yeah.
to the Force. I think you're right. He didn't close himself
I just
off.
don't. I can't honestly foresee the Grandmaster
choosing to turn
choosing
off.
to not be
Yeah.
in one with the Force.
Now I do think there is something really weird that is partially from the next movie and from this one, but in this one he says to Luke, "I have been training Jedi for over 800 years. I've trained Jedi." That's what he told Luke. And in the next movie, he
When
says to Luke,
900-year-old you reach,
"Look as good you will not."
Hmm?
Which means there's only 100 years difference in there.
And
He's been
Grogu's
training,
50.
and Grogu's, that's exactly where I was going. Grogu's 50 years old and he's a baby. Does his species evolve like a Pokemon and he gets to like 65 and it, poof, all of a sudden he's fully capable of training other Jedi? Why? That's such a weird thing that Grogu's 50.
I think it could have just been a oopsie when it came to creating
Grogu?
Grogu.
They knew that he was 900, so they're like, the only way this makes sense is he's still a baby at 50. I don't know.
I think they kind of, unless
That wasn't Yoda's original intention, I feel like or Lucas's intention with Loda. Loda?
where are we?
I don't know. I'm having a hard time talking today.
Ray Liotta.
That's something right there. That's a Yoda that I'd
that
like
would be
to
a
see.
Grandmaster.
Yoda Leota.
Yoda Leota. It's like a comedy thing going on there. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I think that might have been a mishap.
It just seems
It had to have been something to be missed
super
because if he
odd.
was for 800 years, I've trained Jedi, blah blah blah.
he was training them since he was only 100 years old.
Yeah,
It seems weird to go from infant to capable of training other full-grown people.
in 50 years,
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird.
unless in the next 50 years,
There's something odd about their species where they just are like, okay, I'm old enough to be past baby, and poof, I'm
I mean,
full
maybe,
grown.
or they just get so strong in the Force, it doesn't matter if they can't speak Goo Goo Gaga.
Yeah,
You know what I
I don't
mean?
know. Or Yoda was so different. Like, we don't know if he was weird
Maybe
within his own species,
right.
but it just seems super strange.
I really wish we could get like a whole little backstory of Yoda. or
I feel like we never will.
show or movie. There's so many things that we want
I
that we
know.
say would be cool, and obviously we probably never get them. Like, I know 1, 2, and 3 was all about Anakin turning into Darth Vader, but
Right.
I want just a Darth Vader like series. Like, give me something to where like what the books had or anything of just Darth Vader doing his
Oh, yeah.
his missions and they're like conquering the galaxy, blah blah blah.
That would be
Being
pretty
the
cool.
freaking the fist for the Empire. You know what I mean? Or
Like even after.
show him with Vader. Was it Vader's fist?
Yeah.
Wasn't that
That's his group's
group?
name. Yeah.
Yeah. So show Vader's fist. Call it Vader's fist.
Yeah.
And just give us like an 8-episode
Him
crazy
hunting
something or
down-
10-episode, 12-episode. It could be one season, but just show us Vader's fist
Yeah.
doing crazy stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Showing
that
him
would
hunting down remaining Jedi.
Remaining
and all
Jedi
kinds
or
of stuff,
just
yeah.
rebel-
recruiting Inquisitors, doing whatever he
Right.
wants to do.
I don't
yeah.
care. Give me something.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty
You know?
wild thing. We know about his obsession with certain things that they've done in the books and stuff like that. It would be really cool to see him do some of those things on
Yeah.
screen. Yeah, for sure. That'd be cool. That'd be really
know.
cool. Speaking of Vader, I did like a whole lot. Like this is way later, I guess, so maybe I'll save that till when we get to that spot. But
Well,
I
we're
don't
kind of
know.
jumping around,
Yeah,
so it
I'll
doesn't really
just
matter.
always
Like,
jump
I
around
want to
with
go
you.
backwards right here and just talk about the Hoth scene. like
yeah,
the
go ahead.
battle.
You go ahead. The
The
battle. Oh,
probably
so cool.
besides like I don't know, it's hard to really how I am with ranking things,
But it's up there.
it's up there for me.
It's so cool.
Like you have like the Geonosian War is number 1 for me.
Okay, I could see
Um,
that
and-
being.
well, I'm a Clone Wars guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I do
But it
like
is
the
really
Utapau fight.
Oh,
in,
okay.
Revenge.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith. I do like that. Scene
Hello
a lot.
there.
Hello there. That whole thing where the clone punches the battle droids and stuff like that, climbs on top the crowd droid and blasts its head.
Yep,
Like
yep,
it's
yep,
cool
yep.
scenes. Those two I love so much. I do like the Gungan scene. It's so hard for me. It's up there.
Yeah, I think Hoth
this
is
is. I
really
do
cool.
think this is probably like the Hoth battle is probably my second favorite like blaster fight.
That's cool. It's a big scale that you see everything from ground level, troops in trenches,
Speeders,
all the way up to the speeders. and
AT-ATs freaking tearing it up.
I really appreciate that you get to see the rebel like scrappiness, if you will, like they're having to be resourcewful and come up with different
Well,
ways
they're
on the
adapting and
fly.
everything, yeah.
That's very
Their armor's
like
too thick for blasters. Yeah.
now all of a sudden, we'll use these tow cables and we'll tie them up and make them
Yeah.
fall over. Like they thought of
It
that.
was a
just
secondary
boom,
just in case. Like they had a
Yeah.
co-pilot whose only function, I'm pretty sure,
was shooting the
was
tow
to,
cable.
well, they probably had like some sort of like deflector shield.
Doing something though.
It had to have been
yeah.
something, you know what I mean? But then again, you do have like a tow cable thing, so it's like, well, we have a seat.
Right.
You never know,
Right.
I do like who was it that was flying with? You had Dak was Luke's
Yeah.
co-pilot.
Right. And then his squadron guy who was next to him
Who
was
was
actually
that?
Wedge.
Was it Wedge?
Yeah, and
He
then
got busted up, didn't he? Did he get
his
cooked?
his guy was the guy who actually shot the blast. So
Hoo-ah! That got him. Yeah, that's right. That was the
Jennings, I think.
Was that
is
when he
his
said
name,
hoo-ah?
or,
That got him.
Uh,
Was it Wedge that said that in this movie?
I don't remember. I just watched it.
I think
don't
of
remember.
random things, and I know it was Wedge that said "hoo-ah, that got him,"
It might have been
but I can't remember.
because he Wedge is the one that's like just one more pass.
Yeah,
when
that
he
was
goes around
right. Yeah,
4
he's that.
times.
Yeah, because he was like, yeah,
Detach the tow cable.
cable detached.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
the thing fell, and he's like, "Hoo-ah, that got him." Yeah, it was fun. Anyway,
But yeah, that's because Dak, Luke's co-pilot, got blasted.
well, he
fried.
was getting ready to do his thing, and he got blasted and got.
And so
got
then
cooked.
Luke gets hit. He crashes. That scene's cool too. He makes it out of the
He
ship
and he
just
reaches
in
back
time.
trying to grab a hold of Dak, but unfortunately Dak is.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to
Deceased.
grab him, and then he decided, I can't
Well,
get him.
literally
I'm gonna
the
get just
AT-AT
the-
foot was right here.
But he reached back in a second time and grabbed the grappling
Yeah,
hook
his
gun thing,
Yeah.
and then used that to fly up, use a saber, and then throw
What
a
a cool
grenade in it.
thing.
That's
yeah,
cool.
I
That was
really liked
neat.
that.
So we saw them, coming up with resourcefulness to. I don't know what's wrong today.
You didn't whoa.
Contagious.
I just
Yeah,
my tongue got stuck
it's
in my
extra
teeth.
hot today, and
It is
I
hot
think,
today, isn't it?
man, crazy.
It is ridiculous up here at the East
I think
Coast.
that's what's going on. But anyway, yeah, lots of great scenes, tons of good battles.
Well, you jump to
we get to see the Super Star Destroyer for the first time.
Super Star Destroyer,
the Executor.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
chasing the Falcon. The Falcon can't go into hyperspace.
Oh, yeah.
They run through the asteroid field. They do all that. I mean, so much crazy
you
stuff.
have the Empire chasing the Millennium Falcon. I'm right there with you, I think.
Good.
All right.
I'm glad it's not just me.
It's not just you. I was making fun of you, and that backfired on me.
Yeah,
Usually
good
it's
job.
me.
Instant
Usually
karma.
I can't get something out, and here you are.
Oh, well.
Anyway.
Did you notice too? Like, I know that it's been said before, but I like that there was the spot in the movie where C-3PO is been told by Han to go communicate to the hyperdrive, plug in, and find out what's wrong. Why is the thing not working? And his comment a little bit later is, I don't know like who taught your hyperdrive how to speak, but it has the most unusual dialect. And it's so funny because we now know that that's L3,
in the
and
ship,
she's
yeah.
such a like sarcastic, jerk in how she talks and
Yeah.
stuff. That's very lovable, but like she's probably still in there talking
Right.
that same way to him.
Right.
And I'm like, that's great. That's so funny that they
Right.
use that little
Droid
thing.
revolution.
I'm like, oh man, that's cool.
No, it's cool. I like it. This whole movie was cool. I mean, honestly, every little bit. Like I said, when you had the Empire chasing them through the asteroid field, they didn't care. Like you would see, like the Millennium Falcons bobbing and weaving all this stuff, and the Star Destroyers like just taking everything.
I
They
know.
didn't care.
Vader was so obsessed with them that he
With
told
tracking
like,
them,
just I don't care about the asteroids. You're gonna keep going forward,
Yeah.
and we see like huge Star Destroyers being obliterated. There's a guy like on the comms, and you see the asteroids hit them.
Yeah.
Their ship explodes, and the comms disappear.
Yeah.
Vader's like, I don't care. I don't want
yeah,
that.
keep going. Yeah. It was so cool to see like how hard Vader tried to.
Yes.
Like he didn't care. Like that's what he wanted. He was going after it. He knew who he was chasing. Blah blah blah.
It's the first time
It was nice.
we saw him like in this movie. I
Super
think it's the first time
determined. Truly determined.
Yeah, to where his own people meant nothing.
He didn't
go
care.
ahead and
Yeah.
go, it
Did
doesn't
not
matter.
care.
Yeah.
Which the Empire was good for that.
Yeah, it's how they always have been,
all their
but-
troops were
Disposable.
disposable. They didn't care. I mean, there was plenty more people signing up for the Empire every day.
I thought it was interesting. This is the movie too, where we get to see the Emperor in the big hologram
Yeah.
when he calls over to Vader.
The original
and-
is
I
like
know.
creepy.
It's
super
so
creepy
gross.
looking.
It's
Yeah,
actually gross looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know that was a lady? I
that,
think. Am I
that
wrong?
was in the costume.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think it was a lady who did
No, I didn't.
the first.
I know it's a different
hologram
voice.
scenes. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know.
I feel like it was a lady. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm pretty sure I read that it was actually a lady who was the hologram part.
All I know is that it's a different voice than Ian
Oh, yeah, of
McDermott,
course.
and I was like, I've always known that, I think, but I don't know who the voice is.
I have no idea.
So I'm curious if the voice is a lady.
I mean, I don't
Talking
think so,
in a weird,
but-
creepy
yeah,
voice.
I mean, maybe.
Doesn't seem like it.
I'm pretty sure it was just the hologram that was a woman. But
Okay.
yeah, it was like.
I mean, you're all in
lady or something.
costume. You're.
It doesn't
you know,
matter.
you can't
All you
tell.
see is like the side of his face and the chin. That's it. So it doesn't matter
Yeah.
who you have.
But
behind
now
it.
with the enhanced editions that they've come out with,
You can
they've
tell,
amped it up quite a bit. It
Yeah.
looks a lot better than that weird original look.
Yeah. It was creepy.
It's
though,
one of
the
the
original.
changes that I actually agree with and like.
Yeah.
Some of the changes they went to CG to try to do things that they couldn't do
Yeah.
before, which I understand, but CG doesn't hold up over time
No.
like the other things do. So, it's one of those things that's kind of a love-hate where I'm not sure I really like those changes
Yeah.
because I just prefer, I don't know, old puppet Jabba was also gross and ugly, but I kind of like that over the CG Jabba.
Yeah.
Like at the time, the CG was fine, but afterwards, I'm like,
Yeah. No, I get you. I mean, I'm
So-
there with you. I mean, the puppet stuff was always cool. It was it. That was the original. That's how it was made.
right.
I know they want to keep up with times and stuff like that.
Well, and
but
there's stuff they literally couldn't do. Like I know that the dewbacks from A New
Yeah.
Hope were like a really big deal to George Lucas. He brought it up like over and over throughout the recording of the thing,
Right.
and all they could have was like a cardboard cutout. That's why there was only one dewback in the very far back, and he doesn't move. And Lucas was so adamant that those things moved that when they made the enhanced edition, he made multiple CG ones, and they like there's a whole like behind the scenes videos that are like I don't know 45 minutes long, all about how he was obsessed with those dewbacks.
Right.
And I'm like, I get you couldn't have done that before, so like that it makes sense.
I mean, he's excited. He wanted to do
It's his
thing. That's fine,
idea.
you know, yeah.
But
I
yeah.
don't know. But
Yeah.
yeah, so we'll jump now. Like I said, the Hoth battle though is
right.
amazing.
It is. It is good. We get Cloud City. We get Bespin.
Cloud City's great.
That's so cool.
The whole Cloud City thing. I like the idea of Cloud City.
I do too.
I think it's cool. You see Lando. Lando's great.
Lando's such a cool character.
What is the
Lobot?
Lobot? Thank you.
I knew you were gonna talk about Lobot.
I like
Lobot.
I don't know why. I do like Lobot. I like how Lando had his he has the thing on him or whatever that he can send something to Lobot and he has it in his head, whatever. I thought that was cool.
Right. I know you don't. You've never seen Dune, right? Okay. So there's in Dune, there's these people who are kind of partially computer in a way. They're like cyborgs with their brains being kind of like computers. And Lobot really reminds me of them. It's like the Star Wars version of that.
That's cool.
And I'm assuming that's probably where he took the inspiration from.
Right.
But that's what they remind me of.
Yeah.
And they were advisors to people, so
that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it fits
that.
perfectly. But that's what I think of every time I see Lobot. I like when they very first came out though, and you didn't know if Lando was hostile to Han still, and they tease that quite a bit, and then he comes out with all the soldiers and everything, and then he's
a friend.
Then he jokes, he hugs him, and Lobot just turns around and he's like, move out, man! He does the little finger thing.
He's head of security.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool. But yeah, the whole Bespin thing was cool. And then when the Empire's obviously there, C-3PO gets blasted. Chewie finds him later.
Mm-hmm.
It was Lando's whole thing was selling out Han and Leia.
Yeah.
In order to keep Bespin alive, basically. So that was a cold move. I mean, the whole time they were being tracked by Boba Fett.
Right. Empire arrived before they did.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But so the whole. I mean,
True.
Lando was. I mean, he knew. He was obviously. I mean, it's. You give and you get, but oh well. But
Lando's always been, even in that spin-off thing, he's always been very whatever he needs to do for himself.
Of course.
So it
well,
makes
then
sense.
Again, he was over Bespin. That was his. That was his city.
And now that's his thing. He needs to protect that more than anything else. So
right.
he made a choice to sell out a friend for his people, himself and his people.
You save 1,000 for one. You know what I mean?
In
it
essence,
makes sense.
You can understand why he's
of course. I mean, I've never been oh, you piece of crap. I mean, obviously, when you first see it and Vader's there, then you're like,
what a betrayal.
Wow, that's crazy. But you think about it and you're like, oh, I mean, I
kind of understand.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the things keep getting altered, and he no longer is he's like, wait a minute, this isn't going to work the way they made it sound.
Alter it further, yeah.
So, yeah.
It was cool. I did like it. And the whole thing when they see Vader, they're going to dinner.
Yeah.
They're going to go to the table, and the door opens, and Vader's at the end. Han draws his blaster, and Vader just deflects the blast bolts. How cool was that? And then he uses the Force, grabs his gun. He's like, "Won't you join us?" Whatever. And it's
honored if
what a weird time. You have your daughter with her new boyfriend for the first family dinner. It's so weird. Anyway.
True.
No, it was cool. I liked how Boba Fett, when he walked around to get behind Vader, he's got his blaster in his arm, but he's tapping it or whatever. He's so bad, dude. I love Boba Fett. The original Boba Fett was so cool.
In this, yeah. Do you remember though that the original, you barely hear him, but you hear his voice a couple of times here when he's talking to Vader,
right.
And then when he loads carbonite frozen Han onto a ship.
Yeah.
But that wasn't Tamora Morrison at first.
No,
the original
was the original.
But obviously they
used
updated.
To know, but it doesn't matter now.
They updated that, which is now it's more fitting.
Well, because it's a clone. He's a clone. Yeah, you have to have the clone trooper's voice.
So it's cool. I did like that. That's one of those changes that you're like, oh, that's how it should have been. That's cool.
Yeah. Load Captain Solo into the cargo hold.
So they succeed. They put him in carbonite. He gets loaded onto Boba's ship. He's leaving, and the whole point of this is Vader is.
Vader tortured Han.
Yeah.
With that, what was it? The electrocuted thing.
Yeah, it's like a chair that he puts his face on.
There's pins on, or something.
And it starts electrocuting and stuff.
I don't know why, but I think it's amusing. I hate that he gets tortured because I like Han. Blah blah blah. It sucks, right. I'm sure. But when he's getting lowered down too, he's like hot. And then he starts getting hurt, and I don't know why that part's always amusing when he says hot. Anyway,
I do think that's funny.
Yeah.
The crazy part too is that obviously Vader knows exactly what he's doing.
Oh, and this whole time, by the way, we have Luke
training.
Well, he's getting ready to leave to go help his friends.
Right.
He was training with Yoda.
Right.
Now he's going to go help his friends. Real quick, let's go to Dagobah.
Yeah.
When he realizes his tie to Vader, when he goes down into the hole.
Yeah.
That's his fear, like his deepest fear or whatever.
Right.
Cuts the face mask. He has like in the, I forgot what that's actually called, in the cave.
Yeah, the dark side cave.
The dark side cave.
Mm-hmm. He said, "What's in there?" He said, "Only what you take with you."
Right. He goes down
and he encounters Vader.
Cuts his helmet. Well,
he kills the fake Vader, the apparition.
His helmet explodes to reveal Luke's face.
Yeah.
So another cool thing. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's wild. But this was a lesson in failure, as Yoda explains to him.
Oh, that's true.
As he's leaving.
That's true.
He didn't pass this test.
Yeah.
Essentially, and one of the reasons why Yoda is encouraging him not to leave yet, he's too unprepared.
Yeah. Well, that's what he says, is you're not ready.
Yeah. He hasn't completed his training. Yoda and Ben, Force Ghost Ben, both believe at this point it's quite likely, although not guaranteed, but quite likely that all his friends are going to die on Bespin.
Yeah.
And that it's still worth it to choose to let them die to complete his training because it's better for the greater good. They also wanted to make the same sacrifice as Lando. They chose to save the galaxy as a whole, thinking that Luke needed to be fully trained to do that. And Luke is like, no, I'm going to save my friends who are right in front of me. He made the same exact choice Anakin would have made. And I love that. Yeah. I think that's really cool. It shows the human in him.
I agree.
But, it made him a lot more relatable as like what you or I would do in that situation.
Right, of course. Yeah, you're going to help your friends.
And you're seeing through the Force, you're seeing the past, the present, the future, and you see a bad future with your loved ones. You're going to stop what you're doing. You're going to try to go save them. That's very relatable. So I absolutely love that.
So so we go back to Bespin. We got everybody there. Lobot, Lando gives a signal to Lobot. Lobot starts a revolution.
Yep.
No, but it was cool.
Robot Love Revolution?
Yeah, right. Lobot revolution.
Oh.
So it was cool. Having all that. Chewie chokes Lando. Lando wants to stay Han. Anyway, so they figure out what's happening. Whatever. Luke's there. Luke ends up finding Vader in the carbonite chamber.
They go to fight. One of my favorite things when they go to do this fight. So Vader's plan works. He did all of this. So like we almost said before, and then I got a little sidetracked. But when they tortured Han, Vader did this knowing that Luke would sense this in the Force.
Yeah.
And would come. This was a trap that they set 100% for that point. And the point of reference for this is when Han gets taken back and put back in the cell, and Leia's like, "Why are they doing this?" And Han's like, "They didn't even ask me any questions. It was literally torture just so that Luke would feel his friends in torture." That's wild. He knew that that Luke would sense them. Yeah. That's crazy.
Well, he knows Luke's a Jedi. Jedi are going to do what they can.
Well, the Emperor's revealed now that that's your son.
Yep.
So, crazy. And then...
good scene, though. Good fight scene between all of them.
It was. I like the very beginning of the fight scene where Luke sort of taunts Vader. Yeah. I don't know if you remember that, but he's like... He says something... Vader says something to the effect of like, you've improved or something like that. And he's like, "You'll find I'm full of surprises." And then immediately afterwards, Vader like knocks the saber out of his hands. Luke goes tumbling down the stairs. I'm like, well...
I did like that Luke cut the
hose or whatever.
And, flared it into Vader's face. I thought that was a really good idea. But it was cool. He jumps into the carbonite chamber. Vader ignites it, thinking he just froze.
Yeah.
Luke, and Luke's like, and he comes flying out. Yeah,
it looked
cool.
like Force speed again.
Oh yeah,
it was like enhanced. Like.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, good fight between them. They go down into the bottom.
It felt raw. It felt like a realistic fight.
Well, you had Luke, who was not trained enough, and then you had Vader, who's like, "Well, I don't want to kill you. I want to take you with me, obviously." Right. So they go out to the thing. They're on like the big whole trash chute. I call it a trash chute thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah.
But that's where,
the big
he
reveal,
cuts Luke's hand off. Luke is truly a Skywalker now. And Vader looks at Luke and he's like, Obi-Wan never told you the truth. And Luke was like, he told me enough. Or he never told you about your father. Right. He said he told me enough, told me you killed him. He's like, "No, I'm your father." And then you had Luke's super emotional no, which is like iconic. You know what I mean? Vader tells him to join him. This is your
Right.
destiny. And Luke looks down, looks back at Vader, and looks down again. And Vader's like, crap. And Luke just falls, and he just looks over the edge like, well, there goes that idea.
True.
And then he gets sucked into the trash chute, falls down, hanging on by his leg. It doesn't have a hand. His lightsaber is missing, which Maz Kanata ends up getting it
Right.
somehow.
Yeah. It's a story for another time.
It's a story for another time. We'll never get that story. Anyway, he's hanging there. Channels Leia through the Force, which shows that Leia is also Force sensitive because a normal person isn't going to receive that.
Yeah.
So he channels Leia through the Force. Leia feels it as they were getting ready to leave. Tells Lando and Chewie, "Hey, we got to turn back. It's Luke." They
Right.
go down. Lando grabs him from the airlock lift thing.
Right.
Elevator,
Yeah.
whatever
He's
it
on
is.
like a
Probably
TV
like
antenna.
Yeah,
at the bottom
right.
of the
He's
thing.
hanging on just with his feet. Little
Yeah.
monkey boy. I guess if you don't have a hand, you got to adapt. But they get him back, take him back. He gets his little robot hand done. I always liked that too when they did
Where
the
they
robot
showed
hand.
the scene.
Well,
of
it's like
the-
it was open.
Yeah.
Like you could see like where the tendons, I guess, would be, and the droid's like using a needle, and he's like poking his finger to make sure that he can like feel, like,
Right,
make sure
right.
everything's, or not his finger. He's poking inside the chamber.
No, he was poking his fingers.
Was it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
you're
yeah,
right.
he was. Oh yeah, because Luke was like,
Yeah.
ouch.
But you see inside
Right.
the thing like almost
It
like
working,
pistons
yeah.
like moving with each finger.
Yeah,
It's
I
super
thought that was a
cool.
really
Yeah.
cool scene that they showed you. Like, so this is what a robotic hand is supposed to look like and supposed to do, But I thought
Very
that was
cool.
cool. It was
Yeah.
a very good scene.
Very, very cool.
The ending was cool because we were on one of the Rebellion cruisers,
Yeah,
looking out the window at the galaxy. So I always thought that was cool too. Lando and Chewie are going out.
that's a medical frigate.
Medical frigate.
A Nebulon V frigate.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. But it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of a quick jump through the end there.
Yeah.
But it was good. I mean,
Yeah, I like that a lot too. I think it's also if you were watching that movie for the first time, like in the theaters way back
Yeah.
when, that's the first moment where you might start to put pieces together about Yoda's cryptic comment when Luke is leaving Dagobah to fly away, and old Ben is worried, and he's like, "Oh man, he's our only hope. He's our last hope." And Yoda goes, "No, there's another." And as a fan watching this for the first time, you're like, "There's another. Luke's not the
Yeah.
wait. What does that mean?"
Ray.
But then we get it's not what Yoda meant. Yoda did not mean Rey.
I know. I meant Leia, which was cool. That was a good foresight.
So, like, yeah.
foresight.
It's interesting because as a fan at that point, you don't know what he means.
No, but towards
And
the
you
end,
start
you're
to
like,
wonder, and then you see this connection with Leia hearing him,
Yeah.
and that's really, really cool. That all of a sudden she's coming back, and so now that's
Also,
the end
you
of the
had
movie.
when Luke was in the Millennium Falcon, he saw Vader or heard Vader. Wasn't that
When he's in the Falcon.
right? When he's got his hand cut off, he's laying there. I don't remember. Maybe not.
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure Luke and Vader, like Vader was like Luke or son, and then Luke was like father, like speaking through the Force, could see each other through the Force when they were leaving Bespin. Right?
I don't know. I don't remember that.
Was that scene or was that the next one? I don't know. Either way. Anyway, but we're unfortunately out of time on this segment here, but
Sure.
so we kind of had to rush through the very ending of the movie.
Yeah.
But it was a good movie. Like I
It's
said,
a
it's my
fantastic
favorite
movie,
of the
yeah.
originals. There's a lot of good stuff in there, a lot of good quotes. Obviously, there's stuff that we didn't talk about, a lot of stuff we didn't talk about. I mean,
It's tough for a sequel to like outdo an original a lot of times, and especially one where they purposefully leave it hanging
yeah,
because you know there's another movie coming down
Right.
the road. It's one of the few movies across any franchises that does it and does it really well.
very much so. Agreed.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I think that's a decent spot to cut it off there. So we'll take a little break and then we'll come back with our game.
Woo woo.
All right, thanks for joining back in. As we close out the segment here with a game.
Ooh.
We're going to revisit a game that we played a little bit ago. I think we called it Forbidden Sith Words
Yeah.
last time or something like that.
Forbidden Sith content.
Yeah, something like that.
You know, sometimes we say things
And then I forget.
and then it never comes back to us the way we said it the first time. But it's okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
You know, I'm
So-
not saying it happens to you a lot more, but like,
That's rude. I can't believe you would do
my
that
bad.
to me.
Oh, sorry.
So yeah, basically trying to get each other to guess a word here. There's a list of words on there that we can't
Cannot
say. So we're
it's
just
just
gonna,
like the game of Taboo.
it's a lot like that. Yeah, if anybody's
Very
ever played
good.
it. Yeah.
Honestly, this is probably one of my top favorites.
it was a lot of fun
liked
last
it,
time,
yeah.
and we had a lot of cards already
Yeah.
that we didn't go through, so we were both pretty excited to do
Yeah.
this one again. But I'll have the timer here,
Okay.
and I'll just have you go first, and then we'll just self-regulate, try not to say the words that we're not supposed to.
Try our best, buddy.
We'll see about how far we get on this, all right? So I'll go whenever you're ready, bud.
All right, buddy, and we go. We just talked about this, actually.
Star Wars.
Nope, it was when Leia had said, I love you.
Carbonite. Carbon freezing.
You said it right. It was carbonite.
Ooh.
Next we have... Oh, goodness gracious. It was a clan.
Mandalorian?
A Mandalorian clan, but this is a specific person that we know of that is semi-new. We just saw her, actually.
Sabine?
Good job. We just talked about this guy as well. It's not Grogu, but it's
Mandalorian?
No.
Din Djarin.
It's the same thing as Grogu.
Oh, Yoda.
Very good. Oof. Where is Jabba from?
Tatooine.
No,
Mos Eisley.
home
Mos Eisley.
planet. Home planet.
Oh, Nalhada.
I won't look. I didn't look at it. So.
Time.
Good job.
All right.
That was a good one.
Yeah, not too bad. We're a lot better than we were the first time we
3,
played.
4.
Cool.
I couldn't read the Nalhada. I couldn't tell if that said Nal or not. So I was like, ooh.
Cool.
That was
well,
good.
I guess
She had on the card it says 900. So you can't say like when 900-year-old.
For Yoda.
Yeah, I thought
as
that
a
was
forbidden
cool.
word.
Yeah.
That's neat. All right. Can you reach it?
Yep,
Nice.
got you, buddy. And I will start when you are ready.
Let's flip.
Flip it.
I like this guy. He's from the sequel trilogy, like BB-8's owner.
Oh, Poe Dameron.
This is where Commander Gree fought.
Kashyyyk.
Yeah. She died 3 times.
Shakti.
All right, this is a generic word for pew pew in Star Wars.
Blaster.
Yeah.
We're on a roll, ladies.
This
Jets.
is we just talked about all the lines he has in this movie.
Han Solo.
Yeah.
We're on fire.
This is the Star Killer base, but before it was that, it was a planet.
It was the Saber Crystal, the Kyber Crystal planet.
Yeah, I said planet anyway. I can't
It's
say
fine.
planet.
What is the... Oh, don't tell me. Ilum.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll get there, buddy.
So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Look at us, dude.
We did
We're
a lot.
killing it right here. We'll keep yours over there. And
Yeah, that's
mine over
fine.
here, that's fine.
All
So
right.
having to try to flip everything around the table. That was a good one. We're on fire this game.
Oh, we're doing
This
good.
is great. I say that. And I
This is a
just
good
jinxed
game for
us.
us.
This is
Yeah,
a
why
really
would you
good
do
game.
that?
Well,
It's also a good game for us. We have a lot of ways to say different characters and
that's
stuff,
true.
though.
That's very true. All
All
right.
right.
Just talked about this lovely gentleman who wears nothing but black. Scary, chokes a lot of people.
Darth Vader.
There it is. Ooh. In the Clone Wars, in the Clone Wars animated, Mace Windu fought here to free to free a certain race. This is when the little chicken walker droid, were like jumping all
I
around.
remember the episode, but I
This
don't
is
remember where we were.
Okay.
Skip it, I guess.
We just talked about who acquired the thing that fell at the end of this movie.
Maz Kanata.
There you go. All right. Where did the not Grogu go to for exile?
Dagobah.
Who shot first?
Han.
Nope.
Greedo.
Yeah, buddy.
That's it. We're out of time for that
Yeah,
round.
all right.
So
I said who shot first, and I was like, if she put that on there, I'd be so mad.
all the T-shirts for sale out there in the world that say Han shot first.
I know.
I love it.
I mean, in my heart, he always did.
I like that now they shoot at the exact same time.
It's funny.
It's like the compromise. All right.
As soon as you're ready, my friend.
Next round. Let's go.
Bada boom.
This is the place where the big battle in Phantom Menace takes
Naboo?
place. This was on Naboo.
Theed?
He gets chopped in half.
Darth Maul?
Yep. This is this is in a game that we recently talked about. She
The Witch?
No. Your character's like mentor. She's bald. It's like one of the only girls.
Knights of the Old Republic?
No. I'm
Where are
sorry. Didn't even tell you what game. You have a little droid in the game. It's one of the most recent games that came out.
Fallen Order.
Yeah.
The Bald Girls. We're out of time.
Oh darn.
Ooh.
For some reason, I thought we had already gotten established what games I was talking about, and I just said a game we
No,
recently talked. We had a whole episode all about games.
Yeah.
This wasn't a very good clue. You remember her name though? The Jedi that was.
Oh my goodness.
Seer.
Seer. There you go.
Yeah. All right. Oh, why did I do that?
Hey, bud.
All right. Switch it over.
That was kind of a tough one. What was the other one you couldn't that you flipped?
Oh, it was one we did last time. So I just flipped to the other side.
Gotcha. All right.
All right. Skip on that one.
Okay. Oh, we did this the last. Ooh.
Tusken Raider. Oh. Should have pretended I didn't know what it was to see you do that one.
Now Hudda.
Jabba.
One of the cool ship from the
Starfighter. Naboo N1 Starfighter.
Nope, it showed up in episode 9 as a Easter egg.
The Ghost.
Yep.
That's Banking Watt Tambor.
There you go, buddy. That was probably rough for the
listeners. No, that was
what
great.
is the crazy monster thing that we saw in episode 7 in the big in the ship? It was like running through the walls.
Rathtar?
Yes, sir. And that's time.
Yeah.
How about that? Good job. Tuscans was easy, huh? I don't know how you got that.
That was your amazing impression.
My amazing impression. I should have been a Tuscan, dude.
Yeah.
Should have been a Tuscan.
I mean, you still might get the chance to be one.
Maybe one day. The other one that I couldn't think of was at a Trench, Admiral Trench.
Oh, the spider guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had Spider, Anakin, Clone Wars.
That's
I
tough.
was like, the only real guess I would have had was Separatist and blown up.
Yeah, it'd be hard for me to get there.
Literally any.
It's a good skip.
Ship, yeah.
It's a good skip. All right. Okay, let's see. I just talked about this little robot guy.
B2?
No,
BD?
from the sequel trilogy.
Oh, BB-8.
Yes. This is where Akbar is from.
Moncala.
Yeah.
I had to think about that hard.
I'm surprised Akbar wasn't on the list of things I couldn't say. This is a they helped fight. They helped fight the bad guys on the place where there was
Gungans?
little furry guys in the original
Ewoks?
trilogy. Yeah, but the most famous one.
Teddy Bear. Oh.
The one that befriends Leia.
Yeah.
Oh, you know his name.
Chuckles. Son of a gun, dude. We're out of time.
Chuckles the clown. That was it. You nailed it. Chuckles is
Oh my
in
goodness.
Star
Give me
Wars.
a second.
That was so hard for me for the things I couldn't say.
This is hard for me just to think of his name.
Just so you know, one of the forbidden words is murder bear.
Is it really? No, I ain't got nothing.
It's Wicket.
That's what I said.
I know, I heard you. All right, last round. Let's see what we got.
All right. want to do a new
I like it.
No, let's stay with old Subway. No, we're gonna ready.
I'm ready.
All right. Oh, very new. Showed a. Oh, actually, no, not new. Sorry. Where's Maul from?
Dathomir.
Okay, so on Dathomir we also have
Night Sisters.
Okay, and the Night Sisters, who is in charge?
Mother Talzin.
Snow Planet.
Hoth.
Remember in what comes after Clone Wars? What's the good guys?
The Rebels.
Okay, in Rebels, you remember the cats?
Lothcat.
What is the plan? What is
Lothal?
Nah, I messed it up. It's all right.
One more time.
No.
Well, I didn't quite get all that. I missed it. What was that? One more. I can't. It's not coming through.
Okay,
one more
good.
time. What was it? Mouthwash. You're doing mouthwash in the morning.
Listerine.
What on earth was that, buddy?
Fuck. I could have just said Kashyyyk, but I didn't. Yeah, whatever. I was just trying to go fast here.
I'm so glad.
You didn't know what it was? How could you not know what it was?
It's so clear,
What
man.
do you mean?
Oh, that's my
Son
fault.
of a gun.
It's definitely my fault.
All right.
Well, I think that's a great spot to end it at. That was perfect.
You give me your Wookiee.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's probably better than mine.
it
All right,
was still terrible.
That's fine. Oh, whatever. All right. Well, another good episode. I appreciate that.
That was great.
Well, thank you, everybody, again, for stopping in, tuning in, whether you're listening in your car, at work, or just at home, or watching us on the big screen. If you don't mind, just leave us a like and a follow. And as always, may the laughs be with you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.